Welcome back to the Tea and a Buddy podcast. I'm Dominic.
And I'm Erica.
And this is a special episode brought to you by one of our patrons.
Yay!
Yeah! Avon Ellis.
Avon! Yes, if you'd like to find out more about becoming one of our patrons, visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/teeandabutty.
Avon sent us some questions because she's working on a novel right now. One of her novels, she's a writer, yeah. See, we have some talented patrons.
Yes.
Who listen to us.
Our patrons are very special, each and every one.
Each and every one. And she wanted some more, she did some research because I'm from Wales.
Dominic has been told by people on occasion that they can hear his Welsh accent, and he's never believed them.
Can you hear my accent?
He's like, oh, they're full of it. They can't hear it. You know?
I guess I have a light one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
It's definitely light.
I don't know why.
Yeah, because like...
Because you see, if you've got a Welsh accent, you've got to really give it some thought. Really elongate those vowels.
Yeah, I was going to say, because we watch a couple of Welsh vloggers.
Yeah.
And they're both from South Wales.
Barry. Give them a shout out.
King in it. And Cardiff.
King in it, man.
And... they both, and both of those couples have much stronger accents than you.
Well, yes. I mean, I mean, if I lived back there, probably I'd have an accent like that. I'd be like,
I can definitely hear your Welsh accent when you talk to, like, your dad.
My dad actually lives in Spain, and he's got a much stronger Welsh accent. I mean, he was born in Wales. But
even his is not as strong.
It's kind of like mine, but a little bit thicker. Question 1 was, my character grew up in Cardiff and relocated to London after uni. So she got uni right there. That was a good spot right there. Yeah. I have it that she cannot speak Welsh because I believe with her being from Cardiff, she might have learned it early on in school but didn't really practice it. Would this assumption be correct? My answer is yes. It's spot on. It's spot on. Because South Wales is actually far more anglicised than North Wales. So, and Cardiff is very kind of metropolitan. It's a little bit like London, but much smaller.
But in Wales.
In Wales, yes.
Yeah, a Welsh version.
It's the capital city of Wales, for anyone wondering what Cardiff is. Mm-hmm. Whereas London is the capital city of England, and Edinburgh is the capital of Scotland. Mm-hmm. And you do learn in school, you do learn Welsh early on in school, as far as I know. I mean, when I was in high school in Wales, it was compulsory to take Welsh. Yeah. And I never practiced it. And as far as I knew, the kids I was going to school with didn't practice it either. They just spoke English. Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe I don't think I ever knew anyone who said, oh yeah, I speak Welsh at home with my parents.
Oh, you know? Really?
Never knew that. It was all English.
Yeah.
All English all the time.
So you would take, in school, you would take Welsh and English.
And English, yeah.
And then also another language.
Yeah, I took French.
It's funny, isn't it? Because
and I didn't
in England, I don't imagine...
I was kind of like, oh... I don't need to take Welsh. I'm from England. Yeah. And there was a couple of other kids like that, too.
I wonder if in England you could choose Welsh as a foreign language. Do you know?
I don't know, but I don't think you can. Someone can tell me different. Maybe they had like, oh yeah, you could learn Welsh, but I really don't see that. Yeah, as coming up on anyone's curriculum. Maybe there's a Welsh teacher, a teacher actually from Wales who's very passionate about the language. Yeah. And he wants you to learn Welsh. Right. And I'm going to turn England into Wales. That's my goal. Get all those English people speaking Welsh they'll never know, boyo. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Cymru am byth.
But yeah, so the answer to would someone in Cardiff speak Welsh is usually not.
Usually not, no, yes. Number 2, what are some things unique to Wales that you miss? And that can be anything from a food to a saying to a geographic feature.
I'm interested to hear this
You're interested to hear this answer, aren't you? Well, fish and chip shops is the number 1 thing for me. That's what I miss about Wales, is the fish and chip shops. Yeah. That's the food I miss, I guess. Chips. I mean, you can get French fries over here, but let's face it, they're not the same thing. And I mean, maybe there's a couple of joints around Austin that do proper chips, but
I think I've seen some Welsh people before claim that even England doesn't do fish and chips like Wales.
Ireland does the same thing. I've heard Irish people say, Britain doesn't do fish and chips like Ireland does, like you can get them in Ireland,
Yeah. Let me just interject here that I have had fish and chips, I think, in both locations, and they're pretty similar.
They are not. Now, come on now.
I mean, we had them in Liverpool. We had them in Wales.
I'm going to give Oyster Bar, and it's in one of my blogs coming out. My Living in America blogs that I do on the teaandabuddy.com website is written by me, just my perspective of living in Texas and America as a whole, as opposed to, being British and all that, And with the food, I think it's coming out this... the next one coming out this week, or it's already come out. I don't know. I've scheduled them. And I was talking about the Oyster Bar in Llanelli, where I used to live. Mm-hmm. And that, hands down, is possibly the best fish and chip shop I've ever been to.
Shout out Oyster Bar!
Shout out. They don't have a website. They have a Facebook, I think. And I just looked up one of their reviews. And... So, and I put it on the vlog because it was on the blog. I keep saying vlog, but for some reason, because we watch so many vlogs, I guess. And it was just so funny, because it was just, like I know she's talking about the woman who runs it,
Yeah.
You go in and she just starts up a conversation, and I can't remember exactly what she says. She's like, "Oh, it's getting very." You're laughing because I wanted to say, "Oh, it's getting very." It's getting very, she was talking about the weather, she said something like, it's getting very dark out there, isn't it? Or something. Mm. And the woman
who runs the place.
The woman who runs the place. And I was like, and the woman was like, I felt very uncomfortable after that. She just randomly said that to me. I don't speak in code. I'm never coming back to this place ever again. And I was just
getting
laughing.
Dark out there.
Yeah, it's getting dark out there. And I didn't know what she was talking about. Made me very uncomfortable. And speaking codes or anything like that. I just want to eat fish and chips. I don't want all this. I didn't sign up for this.
I don't speak in codes. That was the weirdest review.
It wasn't like a tourist from America or something, or even England. I think she actually lived in Wales, in Llanelli. This woman just said, I just reviewed the Oyster Bar, and I'm just like, that is what you took on from there. You walked in there, and the woman said, "Oh, it's getting very dark out there." I think that was what the quote was. I can't remember. And she just said to me and I looked at her, and it was like a moment's awkward silence, and I felt very uncomfortable after that. I don't speak in code. Sorry. Just want to eat fish and chips.
Oh my god, yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, fish and chip shops, and, sometimes I'm dying for a fish supper, as they like to say.
Yeah.
And bakery chains, and again, another food. Bakery chains like Jenkins, I noticed this. There's a Jenkins in Llanelli, there's a Jenkins on literally every corner.
Yeah.
Every corner.
Yeah.
You don't even have to walk 2 yards to find one.
And you guys, Llanelli is not a very big town. I mean...
It's not as big as Cardiff, anyway.
No. Well, you and I have actually literally walked one end to the other.
Yeah, one end to the other.
Yeah. Population-wise, it's not tiny. I think there's 40-something thousand
40-something
people
thousand.
there.
Yeah.
But, as far as layout and distance to travel,
it's not, the town center is not very big. You can walk it.
Yeah,
you can walk it. You don't have to have a car. It's quite a walkable town.
So the food, is that the only thing you miss from?
And the cooler climate.
Oh
yeah, cooler climate definitely, and it's also very green in Wales. I miss the green. Mm-hmm. The green velvety hills. Keep a welcome in the hillside, boyo.
You know what I miss?
Oh, what do you miss? You don't miss the fish and chips, because I remember you moaning about it last time we were there.
I miss the smell of manure.
Loving it. The last time we were back there was 6 years ago?
Oh, God. Was it that long?
6 years ago. 2014?
I don't know.
Something like that. Anyway, the last time we were properly back in Wales was 2014, and I remember we were walking to town, and Erica goes, I don't remember it smelling like this.
Oh my
Because
God.
it's kind of like a town in and it's a rural area
Surrounding it.
surrounding
yeah.
it. So there's lots of farmland, and it stunk of manure.
It did,
And it
wasn't
did,
it?
yeah.
It
And
wasn't
I
just
mean,
me.
obviously, I don't. It's like I hadn't smelled it for like 4 years or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I'd been away, so I'd forgotten about the smell.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, it stinks of manure. They're just
Oh, I just thought of, you know what else I miss?
what?
Being woken up at the crack of dawn by seagulls screaming outside
Seagulls,
the window.
yeah. Love those seagulls squawking. Because I like to keep the window open to get some air circulating. Because,
Yeah.
we don't have air conditioning we didn't in that house in Wales.
Yeah.
So, and, it was kind of a cooler
Mm-hmm.
thing. So I had to keep the thing. So every morning, the seagulls would land right next to the thing, and it'd be like they'd be squawking in, going, rah, 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 rah,
Yes.
rah, 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 and I remember you waking up and just going like that, giving the window your angry
They
Charlie
kill
breath.
those seagulls.
God, I can kill those seagulls. But yeah, you don't get that in Austin because we're not very near the sea.
No, but one time we have
One time-
heard seagulls out here, haven't we? And we're just like, what is going on?
Yeah, they
we live near a creek, so
they
maybe
were like
they
that
were
squirrel
lost.
they were like that squirrel we saw the other day following the path. You didn't tell them about that. You should tell them
I
about
didn't tell them about that. No, I didn't tell them about that.
There's a little squirrel. We were walking on the walking path and it's paved, and this squirrel was going down the middle of it, just walking. And he was coming towards us, and we were like, "What is he? Does he want food?"
And he
or something?"
socially distanced himself.
And he says, "Oh, I've got to go around you." But he got back on the path and kept going, and there
He
was nothing
followed
else
it.
around. He followed it, and we were just like, "What?" It's like, what's it? It's like, oh, he's got to do. He's out for his walk,
He was lost. He was sure that path was going to take him back where he came from. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's very green in Wales.
Yeah,
it's very
beautiful.
hilly.
Yeah.
As valleys, yes, that's something I miss, and
Mm.
but number one is the food. Sayings I don't really know. I mean that's just general. Boyo. But I mean, even I don't really hear that. I didn't even really hear that in Wales.
Yeah.
I mean, they do stick the O onto everything. They go, Domo, or
Do they?
oh, what's occurring? But
Okay,
it's like, I don't know. They'll just go, oh, so and so. Like they'll say a name and they add O on the end of it. Like John no.
Will they?
Yeah. Oh God, I used to hear it all the time.
Okay, I don't remember this.
Yeah. What you doing there, boy? Question number 3 is, what are some big lifestyle differences between Cardiff and London, if any? Well, the cost of living is cheaper, definitely. I think you'd find that anywhere in the UK, really,
Yeah.
though. I mean, even though Cardiff is a big city and a capital city, it's much cheaper than London because London's got the tourism aspect. And
I would say you would probably still own a car in Cardiff, where
Yeah,
you
yeah,
probably
yeah,
would
yeah,
not
there's
in
the-
London.
no, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
That's another thing. There's no underground system in Cardiff.
Yeah.
So there's buses and taxis, but those will get you around the area. So and they're considerably cheaper than in London.
Yeah.
It's a university town though, so
Yeah. Other lifestyle differences?
I mean,
Not a whole lot, I guess, because there's still going to be a drinking and nightlife in Cardiff.
there's
like
drinking and
there is in
nightlife.
London.
There's going to be kids around,
They actually film a lot of
Well, there's a BBC Studios in there.
shows
and
that are set
Doctor
in London.
Who was yes.
They film in Cardiff
Yeah,
because it's cheaper.
yeah. They film in the residential streets because it's cheaper and there's less people hanging around. So,
Yeah.
like Sherlock, that was another one that used to make, I mean, they used to have like obviously the establishing shot of Baker Street was in London. But, like if you see them generically walking around the street, it was likely not to be London.
Yeah.
It was likely to be Cardiff.
Yeah, I mean, Cardiff definitely has, like, a big city.
It's a big
feeling.
city. It's a big city feeling.
I mean, like, I think you can probably get all sort of like name brand and designer type shops in Cardiff.
Well, we went in a mall there, didn't we?
Yeah.
And you were kind of like, oh, why am I going in a mall?
But
I'm
I mean,
just
there's
like, well,
going
I'm
to
just
be
seeing
like
it.
the high end stuff that you can find in London also. There's going to be cafes. There's going to be.
Oh, well, Cardiff Bay area is, you know.
Yeah. There's still plenty to do.
There's plenty to do.
We went in museums. There's museums, history museums, and art museums. So, I mean, really, there's not a whole lot of like big lifestyle differences.
Not really, no. I mean,
there's obviously more to do in London.
There's more to do in London, you know, if you're that way inclined, you know, like there's more to see in London.
Yeah.
If that's a better thing, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, Cardiff and the Welsh Tourist Board will hate me for saying that, but it's true. I mean, they've built London up. It was the seat of the empire at the end of the day.
And it's
wasn't
huge.
it?
I mean, London goes on and on and on and on.
On and
It's
on
very,
and on.
It's very
And I mean, you could say
sprawling.
that about Cardiff too, because I mean, Cardiff's pretty sprawling and they've got like areas.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, it's not that. It's London is infinitely bigger, you know.
Yeah.
It's like a behemoth.
Mm-hmm. I think you're closer to, well, obviously you're closer to the sea in Cardiff.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, you've got the Thames, but yeah, you
Yeah.
have to kind of go out of London to get to the coast.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Cardiff pretty much sits on a bay
Yeah,
area.
I mean, there's castles. I'm just really trying
There's
to.
castles in London as well.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
The Tower of London, but there is a castle. There is Cardiff Castle.
Yeah, I mean, it's a capital city too,
Yeah.
so really, you're
Yeah,
gonna
they're
have
building
a lot
it up.
available
Yeah.
to you. A lot of the same stuff available to you in both.
In both cities,
yeah.
except one is smaller and, you know, it's a bit more manageable than London.
Mm-hmm.
Less tourists, I'd say.
Yeah. Cardiff really reminded me, this is very weird to say, because obviously they're nothing alike, but
Yeah.
the vibe of it, and I think I've said this before in our
Just vibing.
in our other Welsh or Cardiff podcast or whatever it was, that it sort of the vibe, and I guess probably because it's a big university town.
Yeah.
It was like just sort of laid back, like Austin.
It's a
reminded
little bit
me
laid back, yeah.
of Austin. I don't know why.
I'd say if you compare it to like Edinburgh, I mean, I haven't been to Edinburgh since I was a kid, so I don't really know what the vibe is of Edinburgh. But I'd say Cardiff and Edinburgh and Belfast. Let's just throw all of them in there, you know,
Yeah.
of the capital cities of the UK.
Mhm.
Similar vibes.
Yeah.
London's got a bigger vibe, you know, because
Yeah.
it's London, you know.
I will say something.
Similar but different enough that you want to go there.
Right,
I'm
right,
saying,
right,
you know,
right.
Just to calm people down who are triggered about you telling everyone that Cardiff, Edinburgh, and Belfast are the same thing. And,
Yeah. It just doesn't feel quite as fast paced as London.
No.
Quite as busy, even though it is a big city.
yeah.
I will also say that if you are like a person who's super into fashion, the fashion is still like head and shoulders above everywhere else in Britain, in London.
Oh, come on now. You've been to Liverpool. You've seen the fashions of the women up there. You loved them.
I would say that the fashion level in London is equivalent to New York City, and in my opinion, more fashion-y than even Paris. When we
you
went.
were saying, I didn't like Paris.
Well,
everyone was kind of dressed kind of like,
yeah.
Everybody was dressed
I thought
fabulously in London.
Yeah.
So fabulous.
It was it's like everyone looked like they were competing with each other in London. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they really put thought into it.
Fabulous.
Whereas in Cardiff,
Fabulous.
it's a
Fabulous.
in Cardiff, it's a college town, so you know it's more laid back. It's just like, you know, you're running to class, you're doing whatever, you know, you just throw on whatever, just like pretty much everywhere else.
Yeah.
But if you're into fashion, then you're gonna notice the difference.
Yeah. Okay. Question number 4. In Wales, do you call dessert pudding? And she says, I cannot tell you how confused the first time I had this conversation with a friend from Cornwall. She was like, I had cake for pudding, and I'm picturing an American Jell-O pudding box in my head, and I was like, what? Yes, we do. Pudding across the UK, it's common, it's common to call dessert pudding.
Yeah.
I mean, people call it desserts sometimes, but it's like, oh, that's kind of like... I don't know where the etymology or anything came from. It's like pudding was like what the lower classes called it or something.
I was going to say, does it seem more pretentious if someone said, oh, let's have, who wants dessert?
Dessert. Yeah, I think it probably would be.
Yeah.
But nowadays, maybe not.
Like, it's that common, though, for everybody to
It's
say
everybody.
pudding.
Yeah, I mean, because I think I've seen that, this, in particularly Americans going to the UK and they go, oh, we're going to have pudding for dessert. And they're just all psyched up for that vanilla pudding or chocolate pudding.
Banana pudding.
Banana pudding. They're like, oh, yeah, I'm going to have some. And then they handed a bowl of ice cream and they're like,
yeah.
All right,
or a little cake or something.
Yeah. She was like, I had cake, cake for pudding. And, it's just kind of like, it's that's what we'd call, I used to say, oh, what's for afters?
Oh,
I'd say that, and I'm sure that's kind of another common one in the UK. What's for afters, and that means like after the main meal. I mean, I'm not sure if that is a common thing, but yeah, pudding. What are we having for pudding?
I'm trying to think now when we went to dinner with your aunt and uncle, and your aunt wanted to get everyone dessert.
Pudding.
I'm trying to think the word she used.
The waitress used pudding. The word pudding.
Okay.
Yeah, she says
pudding or something.
Yeah, anyone for... Oh, maybe they said dessert. I don't know, because it's...
No, I kind of think afters, maybe.
Do you want some afters? No. I know what they say in... They call it the sweet.
The sweet?
Yeah, the sweet. And my dad says it too. Do you want a sweet?
Oh, yeah, your dad has said that.
Yeah, do you want a sweet? Because we're in Spain, he goes, oh, do you want a sweet after this? And that's something they say in
Wales.
I don't know if it's in Wales or if it's all over so yeah, I'm amending this now. It might actually be sweet. It's like, oh, something, it's very old fashioned. Maybe it's just my dad, but I have seen it on menus, like for the sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll, like you'd think a sweet meant like, I don't know, cherry sour or something, something like a sweet, but it means actually dessert, yeah. The ice cream.
The sweet menu.
The sweet. I think it's sweets, yeah. Sweet, like sweet things. Sweet cakes or whatever.
Okay, so there's one for you British listeners. Let us know what you call it. Do you call it afters? Do you call it pudding? Or do you call it sweet? And is sweet something that's just Welsh? I don't know if we have any Welsh listeners. And that's sweet
spelled SWEET as well, not like the ensuite or whatever. Not just to confuse you even more.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be confusing. I mean, I never thought about it. I mean, I don't know. I guess, when you just said, do you want a dessert to me? I knew what you meant.
Yeah.
But if I said, oh, I'm going to have some pudding now. Mm-hmm. I'm ready for pudding now. That's me, ready for pudding.
Yeah.
Americans would be like, oh, we don't have any pudding, but we can offer you ice cream. It's like, that'll do. That'll do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be specific too. Do you want some sticky toffee pudding?
Right.
Oh, we're having ice cream for pudding,
Yeah.
We got ice cream for pudding. Yay,
Mm-hmm.
But American pudding to Brits is more like custard.
Yeah.
It's like a custard.
Yeah.
It's like if you said, oh, that's pudding, they'll be like, no, that's custard.
Oh, right.
Custard.
Yeah.
The next question is for you.
Okay. Bring it on.
This question is for Erica. Can you detect a difference in accent between someone from England and someone from Wales? When I first started listening to your podcast, I heard Dominic as English, but a friend of mine from Birmingham, UK, listened. She said she heard the Wales accent immediately. Well, no. My Welsh accent coming through, is it?
Yeah, so this is what I was mentioning.
I'm curious as an American what your experience was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, before I answer that, this is what I was referring to at the beginning of the podcast.
Yeah.
So, if you are British listening, I really want to know whether or not you could tell that Dominic was from Wales without him saying so. Can you hear a Welsh accent in his speaking voice? Let us know on your social media of your choice. Because
I think I sound pretty much like English.
I think you have a very generic accent.
Very generic.
Except for when you're talking to your friends or family. And
so
then
I can hear the Welsh accent.
Then I definitely
because I maybe just start mimicking their accent. Because
Mm.
apparently that's a thing.
Yeah.
And apparently someone in, I don't know if it was at some fast food restaurant. She started going, all right, you know, and then she got all embarrassed about it and kind of like had to like, oh, she was like, I'm not making fun of you. I just do this because
I just pick up accents very quickly.
It's like, what, in 5 seconds flat?
Yes. We're literally ordering food.
It's like, I don't know, if I was working at a thing and an American came in and was like, hey, yeah, I want a hamburger and fries, or, you know, whatever, you know, I wouldn't think, okay, that'll be £5.60, please, sir. You know?
Yes.
You know, because it does sound like you just, okay, sir, that'll be £5.60 or £5.60.
Yeah, it sounds like you're making fun of them.
Yeah, I mean, you know, but she wasn't. I know.
No, she wasn't. She was just trying. She was just trying it out.
She was just trying. She was like, all right, yeah, okay, mate, all right, yeah, all right.
We were just like, oh, are you from
what? And she's like, oh, yeah. She got all embarrassed.
Oh my gosh! But anyway, to answer the question, at first, I don't know. Again, you are forcing me to reveal my ignorance in that I did not know what Wales was originally. So,
didn't know what Wales was until I came along.
If I heard a Welsh accent, no, I probably would not have known what that was or that it was a Welsh accent or anything.
Yeah.
Now, because I've traveled back and forth so many times, because I've been married to Dominic for nearly 10 years.
Yeah.
I can hear the accent, no problem.
No problem.
Yeah. And it sounds very different to me from London or, you know, anywhere else in Britain, really. It's the Welsh accent is very sing-songy, and then we'll do it. Just
Welsh accent very sing-songy.
Yeah, they roll their R's a bit more.
They roll their R's a bit more.
Yeah.
They elongate the vowels.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of glottal stops.
Yeah.
Like stopping.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, stop it, you.
So for me, Dominic's accent is very mild. It's very generic. It's just like and I had no idea where he was from when we.
Well, your mother thought I was from Detroit when she first
she
spoke
didn't
to me.
think you. I put him on the phone with my mom, and she said that she could not really even hear an accent, and she said, "I think he's lying to you. He's probably from Detroit, for all you know."
Yep. And she was right.
I was just like, oh yeah, here, talk to my mom.
Detroit, England.
And yeah, it was just like, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's definitely a difference in the accent. In fact, when we're in Wales, because they tend to speak a lot more quickly, yeah, or to my ear anyway.
And that's kind of like anywhere with a regional accent, really. Which is actually her second question: is can you tell different English accents based on the city? Like, does someone from Liverpool sound different to you than someone from London? Mm-hmm. I can't tell a difference, but wondered if you could. Maybe I just have crap hearing for English accents. Haha.
Yeah, I can. Well, being a Beatles fan, the Beatles have a very different sounding accent to me from
the received pronunciation. The RP is
the Queen, or let's not even use the Queen because her accent is just like it's her own. Like, who else sounds like that in Britain?
People wanting to be the Queen.
Let's think of who is someone that we all know and love. Let's say like
Piers Morgan. That's who we all know and love.
Well, okay, yeah. I mean, no, but yeah, his accent, I would just guess like London. You know, like if London, I heard him.
Yeah, oh, come on. Yeah. He's kind of got like he's got that city banker type accent.
Yeah.
That you hear, you know, in London, in the city.
I'm pretty good at the cities that I can tell generally, Liverpool is one. Their accent's very distinctive. Although I do get it mixed up sometimes. If someone is from Manchester, sometimes I'll think they're from Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean it's a very, you've got to be from that area to know
And
where
I
they're
think
from.
Leeds too. Is Leeds another one that I kind of...
Leeds is a Yorkshire, you know, you can kind of tell Yorkshire.
A Yorkshire accent is different. That's the accent of all the Stark family in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, pretty
That's
much all the Stark families from the north.
Yeah, they all have that sort of accent.
King in the north.
So that sounds different from a Liverpool
Sean
accent,
Bean.
from a London accent.
Well, he was from Sheffield, actually, Sean Bean, but yeah.
From a Cornwall accent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are my main ones I can figure out.
Well, her friend from Birmingham.
Birmingham, sometimes I can get it. If it's a really thick accent, I can hear that and pick that out. But you know, so many people have
Birmingham. Yeah.
So many people have such mild accents now that it's a little
Birmingham.
bit hard to decipher being an American, you know. But yeah, I can hear the difference in Welsh. I don't think I would be able to tell a difference between a North and a South Welsh accent.
Yeah.
Dominic says that in North Wales they tend to sound a little bit more toward like Liverpool accents.
Yeah.
Slightly than in the South, but yeah. So yeah, I can hear the difference now. For the most part, yeah. Sometimes I get it wrong.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can hear the difference, but I say, oh, that's a whatever accent, right? And you're just like, and Dominic's just like, no.
No. Like Geordie accents as well.
That's
why aye, man?
That's a pretty distinctive
why
accent.
why aye, man?
Mm-hmm.
But Birmingham, you know, like her friends from Birmingham.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably sound like I'm from Wolverhampton or something like that now. But, you know, it's just like...
you just sound like you have a stopped-up nose.
Just a stopped-up nose. I'm from Birmingham, and I've got a stopped-up nose. That's all I'm saying, is that I could hear the Welsh accent, even. I could hear it when I listened to him.
I think it...
But yeah, people can...
I think the reason, though, that I can now is because Dominic has shown me so many TV shows.
So many TV shows that didn't come on PBS, that didn't have, like,
Yeah.
Midsummer Murders is very, like, generic.
Mm-hmm.
No one's going to have a different accent in there. You know, it's all they're all going to sound the same, and they're all going to sound slightly upper class. And, you know, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Downton Abbey.
Downton Abbey, same thing. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the Yorkshire accent was particular in that from the Downstairs Mob.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, they all had their Yorkshire
That's true.
accent.
So that's a good example of, like, distinguishing between British accents. Downton Abbey. The upstairs and the downstairs accents are two completely different things. Yeah, and you would not really confuse one for the other.
No, I don't think so. I mean, you just gotta watch a lot of that. I mean, that's the thing over here. They don't get exposed to British media as much as Britain gets exposed to American media.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it is, really. Mm-hmm. That's how it came to be.
Yeah. So I hope that we answered all of your questions, Avon. I hope the rest of you guys found this interesting at all. Entertaining at the very slightest. But yeah, I think that'll do us for time.
That'll do us for time.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you.
Avon, thank you so much for supporting our podcast.
Yep.
Without you, we wouldn't be able to make these podcasts. We wouldn't be here.
We wouldn't be here. No, we wouldn't.
Yeah. Oh my God, we're in trouble now.
We're in trouble now.
We're in trouble.
Turn it down. Turn the red light off.
OMG. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.
Goodbye.